Hello and welcome to Back to Basics Homestead. My name is Annie. For those of you who don't know me, I am a Canadian homesteader in the province of Quebec, and this is year 4 for me. I just completed my 4th growing season, and I was looking at my garden notes that I started at the beginning of the season, and I was looking at the planner I had made for my this current year and what I can actually make it better for next, and planting crops and stuff like that. And I took out my seed collection. I love these things. These are for photos. I got it in Canada. We don't have a lot of arts and craft stores. We only have Michael's and Amazon. And these things I think go for like either $19 or $29. I can't remember. I got myself 2 of those. I might need a 3rd one to organize my seed collection. And my husband lent me this little machine so that I can write what's in that little box. And I literally love this. It comes with a handle. I can bring it outside. Bring my seed collection when I go help out my friends out when they have gardening questions, and sometimes I bring my seed collection to share seeds. So I really love those containers for seed storing. Sorry, got sidetracked. So I want to talk about a subject that is really important. I feel this every year, but I can't really talk about it because not many people talk about this subject. Exhaustion. Exhaustion as a homesteader gardener is not a thing. It happens. Every single year, you as a gardener will reach a breaking point. Regardless if your garden is super small, medium, super big, humongous, you will go through that breaking point of exhaustion because we don't have, as Zone 5, long growing seasons. I think I have 120-ish days this year. Now our frost was estimated on September 23rd, and we are mid-October, and we're probably gonna have 150 days without frost. But it is a crunch. Like, we start working in March, and usually small scale gardeners are usually done by now. Medium gardeners, unless you're growing a fall winter garden, you're still in the groove, but it's slower. But for homesteaders where we grow as much food as possible, we're still going strong now because it is apple season, and sometimes there's strawberries at this point, there's raspberries. So we're not done preserving or harvesting food until a frost hits. We still leave some stuff in the garden in hoping that they'll get bigger before the frost. But once the frost is near, that's where we're gonna go empty the garden and then preserve. So usually I am done by mid-October, beginning of November. My big season is done. This year I did something different. I've never done this. It was called the Every Bit Counts Challenge, where I preserve food every single day in the month of August. It could be dehydrating, freezing, canning, whatever. A way of preserving food every single day for the month of August. And I pushed myself to do that challenge because literally the name of the challenge is Every Bit Counts. If you were putting 3 jars in your pantry, well then 3 plus 3 plus 3, it adds up at the end of the month. So I preserved a lot of food, and I learned a lot, especially with fermenting this year. I had never really had success with fermenting, and this year a lot of my batch work, and I got to learn more and more about fermenting. So that was a plus. But when September 1st hit, my kids started school full time at that time, I literally crashed. And I was not expecting to crash in September. Usually I can hold on till the end of the month of September, and that's when I crash. Closer to the hour change and the sun going down earlier and earlier. But this year it hit me hard, harder than years before. And there's days I didn't even go outside, and there's days I didn't even go in the garden, and I lost food. I planted a fall garden. I still have pests, and I neglected the garden because I just couldn't handle it. Like, I was physically, mentally, emotionally drained. So instead of beating myself up, I just took out, it's gonna sound cliche, but I took out yarn, a hook, my needles, and I just crocheted and knit for a week. And I took out my gardening journal and I started writing in it, and I decided that I was going to root myself back into the groove. And it took about 2-3 weeks for me to actually get back on the horse and started preserving again. We went to an apple orchard. We got second quality apples. I started canning again, applesauce, apple jelly, apple slices and stuff like that. And we also got a 50-pound of second quality carrots, so I needed to pickle them and process as much as I can. So like I slowly got back into the groove. So the second phase, why I want to talk about this, is you're going to reach a breaking point every single year as a homesteader or a gardener. So there's a couple ways that can help you to actually make it easier on you. Having a journal, having a plan, having an idea written down will help you. This year, since I doubled practically my growing space, I was not ready to take on all of that, because I've never taken on so much produce at the same time. So this year was learning how to organize my time and the produce coming out of my garden so I can preserve it as fast as I can. And I had a hard time because like it never happened to me. So now I am more prepared. So I made sure to take notes of everything. Like I know I had some struggles with some of my seedlings, and I ended up needing to buying seedlings from the store. So I couldn't plant them when I wanted. So when my plan originally started, I was supposed to harvest them early, but then when the nursery bought plants, it came out at the same time as other stuff. So I wasn't planning on preserving a lot at the same time. Now I know that instead of making it so complicated for myself, all I can do is just freeze it, whatever can be frozen, and then deal with it when that time comes. So tomatoes, instead of just like taking out my machine every 2-3 days, I should have just frozen all my tomatoes and do sauce, like a big, huge batch of sauce all at once instead of doing 20 pounds at a time. I thought I was gonna be on top of it, but then it hit me hard because tomatoes, I had determinate tomatoes this year, a lot of them. So I had a lot of bounty, a lot of harvest all at the same time. So I had a lot of tomatoes that needed to be processed. So instead of burning myself with tomatoes, I should have just frozen them and do sauce, maybe once or twice a month. And it would have been like a huge canning session, and then it would have been done. And same thing with small harvests. Like sometimes I didn't know what to do with small harvests. I just should have either pickled them, like a mixed pickle, or frozen them, same thing. So having a plan and having an idea and learning from this season is really going to help you for next year if ever you do reach that breaking point. I've never experienced a year without reaching that point. So if you are not exhausted, I'm super happy for you. You probably are more on top of things than I am. But having a plan will help you for your future growing season. And I suggest doing it now so that when you go in your growing season in March next year, if you're in zone 5, you'll be more prepared because now is fresh. It's fresh in your mind. And by taking out your seed collection, you're going to take out the varieties that worked. You're going to see the ones that were more productive. You're going to see the varieties that you didn't enjoy. So you're going to put those seeds aside, and so on and so forth. And your plan will be more accurate and you'll be more prepared for next year. So that was my little 2 cents on exhaustion. And it's not a thing, it exists. And if ever you do feel it, make sure that you step back. Make sure that you sit down, you reroute yourself, and you do something that you enjoy so that you can rest, and then you can come back rested and not exhausted. Because when you're exhausted, that's when you do mistakes and you're going to beat yourself up for stuff that you're going to beat yourself up just because you messed up. So don't do that. Rest and come back rested, and then you can get back on the horse and do homesteading stuff or gardening stuff again. I hope this helps, because this is a subject that is not talked about a lot. So if you have young kids, make yourself an idea of your growing season and set those objectives knowing that you have young kids, or knowing that you'll be doing it alone, or knowing that you'll have help, your husband or spouse or a friend or whatever, a sister or brother. Like, set your goals and make place for flexibility, because a plan never really goes like you want. There will be bumps, there will be temperatures, there's going to be temperatures variation that's going to mess up your growing season. There's going to be sometimes, unfortunately, there are hurricanes or big winds, or it's like having a plan will help you, but be flexible, because sometimes your plan won't go like you want and you'll just have to adjust. So all that will help you if ever you reach that breaking point. So rest, have a plan, and enjoy homesteading. So I thank you for passing by the homestead today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.